So hey there guys, welcome to a new video here. I am from To LadFromTheTilton. I'm obviously coming in to review, as you can see below me, Wycombe Wanderers versus Birmingham City. This will also be made into a podcast, so some of you guys are listening to this on a podcast, and if you are, obviously you can't see the screen. But let's get straight into it. It was Wycombe Wanderers 0, Birmingham City 0. Looking at that, there's obvious problems. The fact that there's a 0 before blows. One of the big issues was we simply just couldn't score. We did have 18 shots, putting 5 of them on target, which was a lot better than we normally would. 62% possession, so that was another positive to look at. Our passing accuracy was up at 59%. Which is once again better than it normally is. But we just couldn't seem to score. Another big issue with the team was the fact that Karanka refused to do a substitution. The only substitution he did was to bring George Friend on, and that was in the 90th minute after Mark Roberts had got sent off. So that was forced upon him. If there wasn't a red card in the 87th minute, he would not have made a substitution. So that's a big problem when you've got Cosgrove, Hogan, Lecco all sat on the bench. You've got a new signing sat on the bench, ready to come in, raring to score a goal, trying to bring the club back. You've just brought him in. You've told him about what he can do. You don't bring him on. Then there's Raheem Harper, another new player. You don't bring him on. Two horrendous decisions for me, not bringing on those players. You've got to give these players time to play, because Cosgrove's played a bit, so he would be able to probably sit in the squad and play 90 minutes. But you've got a player in Harper who has played like 2 games this season, and then has come to us and played like 10 minutes at the end of a match and hardly touched the ball. So you're going to need to embed him into the squad. So that's obviously a big issue. But straight onto the team, I've given ratings to each player, and now I will read them out. So you've got Etheridge in goal, got a 7. I thought he looked vaguely cautious, but at the same time didn't really look like he was going to concede. He made a couple of decent saves, so he got himself out of any mistakes he made. Colin got a 6. He didn't really do much. He didn't concede, but he didn't do anything special. He didn't deserve a higher rating to me. Mark Roberts got a 5 simply because he would have got a 6 or a 7, but he got a red card, so then he went down to a 5. Although that was a dubious red card for me, and I don't think it was a red card, especially when I think their player less than 20 seconds before did a tackle very similar, if not worse, and got away with a yellow. So the consistency from the referee was pretty shocking there. Then you've got Harley Dean getting a 6 out of 10. Didn't do anything special again, but didn't concede. Same with Pedersen, got a 6 out of 10. Didn't think he did anything special. Then the midfield and forwards, I feel like they deserved higher ratings than the defence, because they did make a couple of chances, and it did show, because we did play better, but we just didn't look like scoring at the same time. So Sunyik got a 7 out of 10. Thought he had a decent performance. He was spraying some passes out. He looked comfortable when he was pulling back. He looked comfortable when he was going forward. He was all over the pitch. He played really well. San Jose got a 7. He showed us why he should be playing in midfield and not in defence. His quality in midfield was so much better than his quality in defence, and simply the team looked more solid with him in midfield rather than defence. But probably will be back in defence from the next game because of Roberts' straight red card. Then you've got Gary Gardner getting a 7 out of 10. I thought he played alright. He played some decent passes while he was forward. Considering he was playing out of position really, he was playing quite well behind Juki. He made some chances. He did alright. He had a couple of decent shots going just wide of the goal. Then you got Sanchez getting a 7. He put a couple of decent balls in. He was running a bit down the wing. He didn't get involved as much as others, but that's probably to the detriment for no substitutions. Bella gets man of the match on the Blues side. For me, not man of the match overall, but he gets an 8 out of 10 for Blues. He put in some great balls to the middle to Juki, who just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net again today. Bella was playing quite sublime at times, running rings around their defence and just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. And Juki gets a 7 because he couldn't put the ball in the net, but he was there for chances and he did create quite a lot of chances himself, so he looked better than normal. George Friend gets a not applicable because he wasn't on the pitch long enough to get a mark for me. Man of the match totally was their goalkeeper, Allsop. Allsop made a very, very, very good save off Colin's header toward straight down. He did exactly what he should, and it was a great save. He was going the wrong way, and he still saved it. He saved a couple off Chuki. He saved a couple of really good saves, so he gets man of the match for me, and I think he played well. I think their manager certainly did the correct thing in substitutions. I think he could have made more himself, but he made 3 out of his 5, whereas we made 1, which was forced upon us. They made 2 in the 68th minute. I would have been bringing on Cosgrove in the 60th myself. After all this, we will be talking about the Karanka reign at the moment, obviously. But yeah, they made 3 substitutions, bringing on Akinfenwa, brought a bit of strength to their team, started hitting out our defence, and Harley Dean was having to basically throw in tackles and stuff to stop them attacking, so they looked a lot better when Akinfenwa came on. Wheeler looked good when he came on, and same with Kashi. I thought they played quite well. So now we're on to what is below me, but you can't see it if you're on the podcast. What is below me is the league table. We have the league table. We are now 4th from bottom. Looking at our form table, winning 1 out of our last 5, drawing 2 and losing 2. I think it's possible that at the moment that has kept Karanka in his job is that 1 win. But no wins in 3. No wins against Coventry or Wycombe relegation rivals. It's certainly not looking good. But looking at it, you got Sheffield Wednesday. Did they play? I don't know. They did, and they won. Then they've got a game in hand on us. You got Rotherham, who didn't play last night, who now have 3 games in hand on us. Wycombe, who beat us last night, but are 12 points behind us with 2 games in hand. So it's unlikely that they will catch us, but you never know with our form the way it is at the moment. Derby, who have won 3 games on the trot, but couldn't play their match against Rotherham last night, so if they win, they will push further ahead of us. So looking at the table, it's getting incredibly worrying. Not being able to beat teams like Wycombe and Coventry is a big problem for a person like Karanka, as it really has to be looking at his job in reality terms here. You can't not look at the job he's done and think we could be doing a lot better with the squad that we have. So looking at the next 5 fixtures, I did this on Twitter last night and everyone was agreeing with me. You've got arguably 3 matches that you've got to look at as prime suspects for a victory, and this was obviously before Bournemouth sacked their manager last night. Bournemouth was not one of them anyway, but I was predicting us to lose there anyway. You've got Bournemouth away. I didn't expect anything. Still don't expect anything, and since they've sacked their manager, I definitely don't expect anything. Luton Town at home is a game that you must get points from. You need to get points from a team like Luton. Luton are now in 13th. They are pushing away from us. If we can beat them, we catch up with them a bit. So that's what's needed. We'll go 2 points behind Luton if we could beat them, and it depends on the last game against Bournemouth as well. Millwall away is another huge game. Millwall sat in 14th in the league table on 32 points, so they're 4 points ahead of us. A victory there could take us closer to them. Sheffield Wednesday as the 4th game out of the 5. Sheffield Wednesday away is going to be a huge game, because at that point they could be ahead of us, we could be just about ahead of them. At the moment we're sitting 3 points ahead of them, but they've got a game in hand, so we could be on the same points. Who knows? And then the last game is Norwich at home. I don't expect anything from that, with it being a home game, number one, and number two, it's Norwich. They're doing quite well this season, so at the end of the day you've got to be looking at that. And at the end of the day, if we need wins and we're not looking like getting them under Karanka, I feel like if we lose those 3 games, we could be goners in reality. You do have a Huddersfield coming up after that, who are down there as well. You do have a Barnsley, but they're 12th. So you do have a couple of the other teams just after that, but and a QPR. But at the same time, 3 more games of which other teams could win against us, and then other teams around us can win. That could put us under serious pressure of relegation. And looking at the teams around us, they're actually going into a bit of good form. We've got Sheffield Wednesday winning their last 2, Rotherham winning 2 of their last 5, Wycombe winning 1 of their last 5, we've won 1 of our last 5, Derby have won 3 of their last 5, Forest have won 3 of their last 5, Coventry have won 2 of their last 5, QPR have won 3 of their last 5. Now you've got Huddersfield who are dragging themselves back into it, winning none, and Cardiff winning none. So those could very easily drop down to us. But looking at the league table, you've got to be worried, and I think he's got to go before those 3 matches. Because you need a manager in who's going to do the subs, a manager in who's going to put the team out there that's going to win. And you need the determination of a manager who kind of looks like he wants the job, because it really, when listening last night, reminded me of Steve Cottrell in post-match interview with the "this is a scary place to come" comment. No offence to any Wycombe supporters that might watch this, but it shouldn't be a scary place to come. A team bottom of the league, who before the match had only won 3 matches, of which 1 was against us. So yeah, on to the next game. Hopefully you guys like this new look of pod video. So I've got the teams and the subs and the scoreline and pictures around me. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Keep right on and look towards the next game on Saturday, Bournemouth away. Keep right on.